So I'm an athlete and I wrote a book. Like, just because I'm an athlete doesn't mean that I can write a book, right? I wrote a book and I just gave myself an opportunity to do something else as well. I had a goal and I wanted to reach that goal. And during the process, I was also changing. That's the most beautiful part of it. Because when you have a goal, you change your whole life once you go through the process. And I think it's really amazing and really emotional as well.
Welcome to the Clarity Compass. I am delighted today to have Kacper Garnczarek as our guest. And a little background of how I met Kacper. One of the great joys of living in a college town here at Penn State is I have the blessing and the privilege to run into these fine young people that come through our campus. And, within a couple minutes of being introduced to Kacper and just general conversation, I was so connected in a sense on his philosophy of his life. Welcome, Kacper.
Thank you so much. It's really good to be here.
And a little background, and I'll let Kacper go into it. He's from Poland. He's the captain of the men's gymnastics team here at Penn State. Kacper, tell us about why you chose Penn State. Why are you here? How did we connect so quickly within like 10 minutes? And that has you as our guest here in the Clarity Compass podcast.
So in the beginning of 2020, I came with the Polish national team to the US to compete in 3 different competitions here. And one of the competitions were in West Point, in New York. So that's where I met Penn State. And one of the coaches, Carlos Vasquez, asked me, when do I graduate from high school and what are my plans? So I was kind of like thinking that maybe they would want me to join the team. But then when I came back home, it was at the end of January 2020. I had 1 week at home and then I went to my first World Cup, Senior World Cup in Melbourne. And that's where I met Steven Rosick, the pommel horse guy.
It was famous pommel horse guy here.
Yes.
Penn State alum.
Yes, we started talking about Penn State and he said that I should come for a visit and see how it is. And then after the World Cup, I came back home. COVID happened, so I was like, oh, okay, we'll see what's going to happen. And then after a couple months, I flew to Penn State. I saw how it was. I really liked it. I committed to Penn State and now I'm here.
Now you're here, and now you're going to be graduating in a couple months.
Yes.
So you've 4 years here. And how well was your English when you came from Poland to Penn State, to Happy Valley?
In the beginning, my English was very, very bad. And I think mainly it was because, I feel like I knew the words, but I was just so scared to talk to people because I was really afraid that I'm going to make a mistake. That was my biggest fear.
And you obviously, you've done well. You've done well. And so would you say it was a great decision to come to Penn State?
Yes, it was one of the most life-changing decisions in my life because coming from Europe to the US, not knowing anyone, I was really afraid. Thankfully, I had my teammates and the coaches and people around me that helped me to adjust and feel like home.
Well, it's a testimonial to you that you've been chosen captain. What's your take on leadership that you, English as your second language, never been here to the United States until that West Point event, and now here 4 years later, you're the captain, a leader, and about to graduate in 2 months. And I know you have NCAA's coming up, the Big Ten's coming up, but your leadership and kind of your leadership style that you were elected by your teammates to be the captain. Mm-hmm. How did that happen?
So my junior year, I did really good in terms of gymnastics and I got really connected to my teammates and they saw the vision and the passion I have for the team and for the sport. So they chose me to be a captain, and also the positivity that I bring and the happiness. I think that's also what they were looking for. So my junior year, last year, I was chosen to be a captain for my last year here in Penn State.
Well, that's great. And that goes back to when I first met you, just through a series of my questions. Anytime I meet someone, I was just amazed at what I thought was the depth of your radiation of joy and kind of being the captain. And just through a series of questions, I identified that you are truly a servant leader. And I was fascinated at such a young age that you picked up this guide role. Who have been some of your inspirations and role models on your style of leadership at such a young age?
From the gymnastics perspective, there is this one gymnast in the US. His name is Samuel Mikulak. And I saw that he was always positive. No matter what, he was always positive, but in a good way, not in a bad way. And I really liked it because he showed me that there is the flow that like you're getting to. Like no matter what's happening, you're just going for it and you're being positive and keeping only the positive outcome for what's in your life. And I think that's what really got to me, and that's how I try to live my life.
Well, and then we quickly went into, one of my favorite topics, and you mentioned flow, but love versus fear, in the role of fear in sports, and even in my own athletic career, they say flow or you choke in a big match, just coming off the Olympics, watching people in flow. And then I find out that you've been working on a book. Let's go right into that. You have a book that's about to be published. Yes. Talk about the fact that you're how old?
I'm 23 years old.
23 years old, from Poland. You decide to do a book on what?
The title is Today's Pleasure or Tomorrow's Success. The book talks about 3 different pillars, which is focus, happiness, and goal setting. The book is about how to build focus, happiness, and goals for the long-term success.
And the genesis of this, where did you come up with the thesis, the hypothesis, and I'm sure you researched it. What inspired you to say, now's the time to publish a book?
So it was always my dream to publish my own book. I was always just so impressed that people do it, and I was like, oh, I really want to do it as well, but I never knew what kind of topic I would want to talk about. If it should be maybe only sports, or maybe something that I'm really passionate about, which is self-development. And coming to Penn State, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but now when I'm a senior, I'm about to graduate in 2 months, I know what I want to do in my life.
So you have a North Star.
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
In September this year, I'm starting a recreational gymnastics club in Poland and going around Poland, mainly in the beginning, to inspire kids and young people to do sports and show the passion and the whole vision for sports.
We'll talk about the 3 pillars. And where did you develop this? Through gymnastics and through your upbringing. But this philosophy, this mentality, speak to that, how it came about, and why you're now going to be the amplifier and the evangelist around Poland to develop young people to have a similar mindset.
So I'm talking about focus, happiness, and goal setting. I think these are the 3 key factors in my life that made me feel like I really want to achieve something, and that's what helps me to achieve something. So if I'm not going to be focused on what I want to do, I'll be distracted many times. I'm not going to get where I want to be. If I'm not going to enjoy the process, if I'm not going to be happy about it, with people around me, with the environment, with everything I do, I'm also not going to get to the success. And the third part is to set clear goals that will change my life. So that was the third part that was also really, really important for me. And also in gymnastics, when you think of doing new skills, sometimes it might be too early to do them yet. So you have to be really realistic about them. Like you have to set clear goals that you can achieve and you know that you can do that. So that's why the third part is also really, really important, like the other 2 parts.
Now, clarity of goals. How did you come upon clarity? Because in teaching leadership and entrepreneurship, I find that's the biggest challenge is clarity. In a world of noise, in a world of distraction, and a world of dopamine addiction, in a sense, that how have you found clarity? That you clearly said, I'm going to do this. I have that North Star. It's very rare.
We all know about dopamine, but we don't really know what it is and like where it is and what happens. So I clearly talk about like what you should look for and what you should avoid. But I'm not telling you that you should actually do it. I'm just telling you to be aware of what's around you and what can help you to be more focused and get to where you want to be. We talk about the dopamine detox, how the dopamine swings work. For example, with alcohol, that's the easiest way to explain it. After drinking alcohol, you get the 150% dopamine hit, but to balance it and go back to zero, you have to first go to minus 150, right? So understanding this, maybe next time you're not going to reach for alcohol. Next time when you know that you have to focus on something really important for you. It's about everything. It's about social media. It's about nicotine. It's about everything that's around us, even fast foods, the same thing. So knowing this, if you really want to achieve something, you'll sacrifice this, today's pleasure, for tomorrow's success, your goal.
And that's the name of the book.
Yes.
Repeat it again.
Yes, today's pleasure or tomorrow's success.
And the 3 pillars again?
It's focus, happiness, and goal setting.
And where does discipline play into all 3 of these?
It's definitely the first part, focus, because if you really want to achieve something, you have to sacrifice something as well. Like, for example, when I started gymnastics, and I knew that I want to be really good at it, I knew that I have to sacrifice going out with my friends, for example, because I didn't have time for that when I was in high school, for example. I knew that I have to sacrifice something to get somewhere. And I think the discipline comes with passion. If you're really passionate about something, if you really want to do something, you'll do it no matter what. And if there is someone who tells you to do something, you might do it, but if you truly want to do it, you will do it for sure. Even when you wake up in the middle of the night, you'll think about it. You'll be obsessed about it. That's how I thought about this book. That's why I wanted to write this book. It took me around 2 years to do it, but I said that I really, really want to do it. So sometimes it was 2, 3, 4 hours just sitting in my room and writing something down to understand how it is. The hardest part for me with this book was that I didn't know anyone who wrote a book in Poland, so I didn't know the steps, like how to do it. What am I supposed to do? I was just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I have my laptop, my paper, and what am I doing here? I had a couple notes from the other books. I include 16 different books in here, so it's not just my knowledge, but it's the knowledge from the experts, and then my perspective of life. And I share it in a very, very easy way, what the experts say in their books. So it's much easier to understand these topics here.
You studied the 16 experts, so you have science behind it, you have references, and then you've lived it. And gymnastics has been the path that kind of brought the recipe and the template to life of what your book is espousing. But I'm just always fascinated why we don't follow it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because we are not patient enough for what we want from life and what we really want to achieve.
So I think you just nailed it. We're not patient enough to know what we want in life. It's what you want. In working with students, I have done that since 2007, and I have them working on their personal life plan. The North Star crystallizing what we want as human beings, I have seen has been the most challenging part of having a vision and being in love with that vision. You mentioned you're obsessed with your vision, and nobody needs to push on your back to do it. You think about it, you get up, you want to do it. If you could kind of explain the methodology of crystallizing your North Star, give us the viewers' advice on how you fall in love with the vision that you will be, called success, that has you sacrifice and use your 3 pillars to get there.
I think it's always about choosing the right thing and about all the decisions we have in our life. Another thing that I talk about in this book, and also the scale that you can see over here.
Scales of justice.
Yes, scales of justice. I kind of want to say here that you always have a choice. You can choose today's pleasure, and you're going to be much further from your success, tomorrow's success. But you can also choose the grind that you also like. In my opinion, it's super simple. It's really hard to get to do something. Like sometimes when you go to class, you're like, oh, I don't want to go to class. But then you're sitting in this class and you're, oh, it's actually pretty good. And then you leave like, oh, like I'm sad that it ended. Same thing is with my training sometimes. And same thing was about this book or about reading a book. Sometimes I don't want to do it, but then once I started, I'm in this flow. I just can't stop because I really like doing it. Same thing is with running. The decision of going on a run is the most important, because wearing the sports clothes, getting out of the house, that's really hard. But once you start running, you really like it. And I think that's the main, that's the sauce. Like I would say, that's the sauce. Every mental coach says, but getting out of the comfort zone, it's actually very important to just to start doing something, and you will see that you really like it.
And you obviously show passion even about being a guide in this book and going back to Poland and teaching and guiding the youth of Poland. In my class yesterday, people pulled their phone out and they said on average they're social media 8 hours a day. In a classroom of 45, the average time a Penn State college student, at least taking entrepreneurial leadership, is spending 8 hours a day on social media. Now, when you pulled your phone out, what did you have?
I had 4 hours in total with calls, and now I do a lot of calls as well, because there is not only gymnastics now, there is also school, and there is life after school. So I really try to plan it as much as I can. But I also use social media, but I use it to promote my brand.
Okay.
To promote.
So it's work. It's work. It's part of the grind to get this
Yes.
book out there. And yes. Okay.
Yes,
Well, that's a good point. You know, it is a tool, social media. You're not just on TikTok. And are you ever on TikTok? Perhaps as your marketing brand.
I am only posting on these platforms. I'm not really scrolling. So I try to become a producer, not a consumer.
Got it.
So
it's a distribution channel for you to promote your philosophy, your book, and the spreading of your guidance that you truly are trying to help people.
yes.
And as a guide and captain and, going back and teaching and coaching young people, what's the biggest challenge to be a guide when you feel you have a blueprint that's going to make them more successful? And just human nature, people fight the methodology. How do you deal with that, being a guide, when often they say you can lead a horse to water, but at a certain point they don't want to drink?
Mm-hmm.
Do you stick with it? How do you motivate sometimes what seems to be the unmotivatable?
I think everyone has a different way to achieve the success. Everyone is different anyways. So there is no one right way to achieve it. As a captain, I try to talk to every single teammate that I have on my team, and everyone is a little bit different. So everyone has to go to their success, what they want to achieve, differently. Also, everyone has different goals. One wants to go to the Olympics, one only wants to stay on the team, and the other one wants to All-American. So there are different goals and different visions. So it's really hard to do one same thing all together. Yes, we do a lot of things together, but to achieve your own success and the team's success, sometimes you have to take a different path. And that's my main point, that everyone is different and you just have to adapt to the person, not them to adapt to you.
That's a hallmark of a servant leader. You're listening and you're designing a custom motivational plan. Okay, so 5 years from now, you're selling a lot of books, you're doing a lot of public speaking, you have your recreational training facility. What does success look like 5 years from now?
In 5 years, I really want to inspire people to reach their whole potential, because I think everyone deserves that. And sometimes I felt that way my freshman year. I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted from life, but then I started reading, I started developing it, and I started experiencing different things. And that made me realize what I actually want from life and what I want to do. And no matter what, I'm not going to stop. Nothing's going to make me stop doing it.
And at what point did you have that nothing's going to make me stop, that's pulling you forward, that you use the word obsession, that you think about it, the clarity again? You said you were reading when you were lost. What created the pathway? And I know your book is trying to create the pathway as guidance to others. Talk about the struggle of that process to finding oneself and where you were going to point your boat and car and North Star to.
I think it's giving yourself opportunities. So I'm an athlete and I wrote a book. Like, just because I'm an athlete doesn't mean that I can write a book, right? I wrote a book, and I just gave myself an opportunity to do something else as well. So giving myself opportunities in life and trying different things and seeing what I actually like. Like, I wouldn't know if I like the self-development mindset. I wouldn't know if I like writing a book, if I like to talk about it. I wouldn't know if I like gymnastics if my parents never put me there in gymnastics. So I think just experiencing things and having all these opportunities and never giving up on them and trying to develop what you have and use all your resources that you have. I think that's really important.
And using your resources, you didn't know how to publish a book, and kind of bringing to life exactly what you just said. You figured it out. How did you figure out how to publish a book?
Because I was obsessed about it, and I told myself that no matter what, I will publish it. So yeah, this is a Polish version of this book, but there is an English version coming on Amazon as well at the end of April. But the main thing was that I just started calling people, and I didn't care like what they would say. Like, I started calling people. I started looking up on internet, like how to publish a book, like what am I supposed to do exactly? Because the main point is that I'm self-publishing this book in the US on Amazon, and in Poland I fully self-publish it with shipping, having my first little store as well. That's the first product of the store. Like, no matter what, I just started reaching out to people. Maybe, do you know someone who does that? No. Oh, do you know? Oh, I know. So you can reach out here. And then I found a graphic designer. The graphic designer helped me to find someone who actually prints these books in Poland. Okay, so I reached out there. I went there, I had a meeting, and I started talking about it. Oh, what do you want? We want this, and that. This many books? Okay. And then I started talking about the packaging. We have to do packaging. We need this, and that. Okay, what if we include a bookmark as well? What if we include a band, right? Which says mental, vision, passion. The first letters is MVP. MVP Gymnastics. The name of the club.
That's going to be the name of your club?
Yes. MVP, gymnastics, mental, vision, passion.
Wow.
So I had a goal, and I wanted to reach that goal. And during the process, I was also changing. And that's the most beautiful part of it. Because when you have a goal, you change your whole life once you go through the process. And that's the last chapter I talk about. And I think it's really amazing and really emotional as well.
What you did is perfect methodology on, you sampled a bunch of stuff. You were lost. You tried things. You had a bias for action. And then you found this, and you were in love with this MVP, and it all kind of flowed. That you had this, you're doing men's gymnastics, which feeds into the book, which feeds into your grind, which feeds into your MVP, feeds into your credibility, feeds into your speaking tours. It all is aligned where a pack of wild horses couldn't keep you from it. So it's easy to say no to 7 hours of scrolling. It's easy to say no to drinking. It's all around you here at Penn State. But you have no problem like XY decision, and that's focus. Mm-hmm. The people who will buy your book will be the ones seeking the pathway. And it'll be 3 out of every time you speak to 100, there'll be 3 in the crowd that is ready at your point you were a freshman year. I am lost. I am alone. I am afraid. Why am I in the United States? And I don't even know anyone, and I'm afraid to talk. Mm-hmm. You went seeking for the GPS system, looking for the blueprint, and you found a path. And then passion followed. Discipline follows it's not discipline first, discipline after the clarity. Yes. Now it's easy to put the running shoes on. Well, Kacper, I've really, really enjoyed this, and I could ask you 50 more questions, but I think you've nailed it. What else would you like to share with the audience that I have not asked you, tied to your book, tied to your philosophy, tied to your attitude, in your day-to-day activity, which will help us drive the results we want in our lives?
This book is just the beginning of something even bigger. So this is just the first project of many projects that I'm already working on. And all the money I'm going to make on this book, I will reinvest to my other projects to make them even bigger and better. My main vision is to inspire people and inspire kids to do sport do the physical training and the mental training as well, because both of them are very, very important. Maybe the mental training can be only 5, maybe even 3% of the success, but sometimes you're ready for 97%, and you need these 3%, and that's what I exactly want to do. That's what I've never had this when I was young, and that's what I want to provide now for young athletes and young people who struggle with discipline, who are lost and they don't know what to do, or people who just need this motivational kick. That's exactly what it is, and that's what I will do, and no matter what.
That's wonderful, Kacper. And so it sounds like it's a book not about gymnastics. I mean, this book goes to all walks of life. And when the book is out in April in the United States, I mean, I can't wait to read it. The English version's coming out when on Amazon?
April 19th. So
let me know when the link goes live. I'll share it with the audience. And it's been a delight. Thank you, Kacper.
Thank you so much again.
This has been the Clarity Compass. And thank you, Kacper, for a wonderful session. And I can't wait for your book to come out. Thank you.